National delays hinder safety progress in Ocoee. A chili cook-off for a good cause in Hamlin. And in the midst of Black History Month, during the final page, a double feature of two predominantly black communities here in West Orange. The date is February 10th, 2022. We're going to go through these stories and more. Welcome to West Orange on the Go. My name is Austin Arthur, and this is where we do local news and comment. And when I say local news, I mean hyper-local. West Orange. This is your news. We begin in 10 seconds.
You're listening to West Orange on the Go. Brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.
Ocoee Commissioner George Oliver announced construction to widen Clark Road is now underway and is to be completed this fall. While work on the road had begun in March 2021, with much of the underground work being handled, the visible parts of construction will begin this month. And in other City of Ocoee news, after months of negotiations with Orange County government, the Ocoee City Commission announced preparations are being made to install a traffic light at the intersection of Clarkona, Ocoee, and Ingram Roads, which has gained notoriety for the frequent car crashes that have occurred at that very intersection. Ocoee Mayor Rusty Johnson read a letter from Orange County Mayor Jerry Dimmings announcing the county will be installing a traffic light and construction will begin in the near future. However, due to the supply shortage around the country, key parts will not be available to allow the light to be installed right away. Because of this, the contractor states that it would take 6 months to construct this traffic light. So unfortunately, due to the national state of affairs, West Orange citizens will have to wait and perhaps pray a little longer. A team of local dentists are providing free basic dentistry, such as fillings and tooth extractions, for people who are less fortunate in our community. Now, I'm not sure if there are any appointments still left, but if you're someone in need or think that you know somebody that may qualify that needs dental care, well, it's located on East Plant Street in Winter Garden. And for more information, I want you to call 407-258-3107. That's 407-258-3107. That's for the Dream Center in Winter Garden, where they're doing local dentists are doing dental care there right now to help out people in our community. And now this: color, aroma, consistency, taste, and aftertaste. Well, those are the things that David Terry, the Chili Appreciation Society International Championship qualifier, said are the 5 criteria that can help anyone judge a good bite of chili. Now, Terry and 9 other top chili chefs in the country are headed to West Orange for the first ever Central Florida Chili Cook-Off. Monies raised at the event will go towards Legacy Events for Education, of which actually Terry also serves as president. The nonprofit's mission is to put together large-scale events in West Orange County to raise funds for scholarships and grants to students and teachers at local schools. So if you love chili and if you love children, consider stopping by February 19th at the Hamlin Town Center. That's for the Central Florida Chili Cook-Off. It's there in this week's paper. So if you don't know how to get this week's paper, I'm going to tell you very simply. Big red boxes. All right? They're all around town. You just go and you rip one of those puppies open, and there you have it. You got your newspaper. Now, this newspaper has been around for 116 years. This is the paper of record for West Orange County. You can also visit us at orangeobserver.com and on the Facebook page. Now, you know I get an early release of every week. Every week when the paper comes, I get it early. Okay, I get a little sneak peek. And I get that so I can look through the stories and decide what I want to talk about on the podcast here. And I noticed an ad out. It's Habitat, the West Orange Habitat for Humanity. Now, they have an ad out for their 2022 Women Build. All right, now this is a very important event, raises a lot of money, gets a lot of good work done. Now, most of you know about Habitat for Humanity, and I am actually very grateful. I'm recently been asked to be a part of this group as a board member. So I have a passion for this group, and I want you to know about what's going on with the Women Build. Now, if you're a woman, you can participate in this, and you go and you help build and you raise money. You get a group together, and it's a real fun day. You get a pink hard hat, all kinds of cool stuff. And you could come to the Women Build Wine Mingle. So if you like wine, you know that's where it's a good time to get your team together. That's February 24th. All right. And if you're a man, and if you're not a woman, you're a man, well, I have been personally made aware of that they do accept men's money for this event. So if you want to donate, that's a great idea. So I want you to visit westorangehabitat.org/womenbuild. All right, that's plural, women build. westorangehabitat.org/womenbuild. Now, West Orange Habitat for Humanity is doing great things in our community to help build affordable housing. And as a community, we need to support great organizations like this one. And now to the next story. Save the lost, revive the saved, and train them all. Justin Lagasse believes so strongly in the mission to share the gospel of Jesus with college students that he even took off a semester from his own college studies to do so. The Winter Garden resident is a firm believer in Christ and jumped at a chance to travel as a volunteer with the Circuit Riders Missions Outreach Team. In this week's paper, we have a full story about Justin, and I would love for you to read it. But he is in need of donations to fund this 2-month mission tour with the Circuit Riders, a missions outreach team that sends Christians to college campuses across the United States. You can learn more about the mission in the paper, and you could give Justin a call yourself. His number, 407-951-0031. Support Justin at 407-951-0031. And now into the final page here. We got 2 stories I'm kind of going to bundle into one. Remembering yesterday's Tildenville. Dolores Woodard Riggins was raised in the once thriving community, and she lives in the same house where she was born 67 years ago. Now, Miss Riggins' home has been in the family for nearly a century. Several of her older brothers and sisters are still living, but she is the lone Woodard of her generation to remain where her roots were first planted, right here in West Orange. And in the piece, she talks about her childhood a lot. It's very interesting, and it goes on to tell a little bit about Tildenville itself. It says, Tildenville was planned in the late part of the 19th century as a home for transplanted agriculture workers from Georgia. It was a citrus community with several labor camps, which had mostly young men who came from places like Arkansas and Missouri and Jamaica to pick citrus here in Winter Garden and to harvest vegetables at the muck farms in Zellwood. She says, quote, "My mother was like a caregiver for a lot of those young men who came in. She made sure they ate and that they kept in touch with their families while they were away. She was like the mother hen. My dad was basically like my mom. He was a caregiver of the community. She said they used to have orange trees all around the area and that also they had a lot of hogs. She said, quote, they had hog pens back on the back half of this property, and my dad would slaughter the hogs and take them and clean them out and divide the meat and send the meat all around the community and make sure everyone had food to eat. The Woodwards were strong Christians and regularly attended Tildenville Missionary Baptist Church." Now, the piece goes on, and it's really a wonderful piece by the incredible Amy Quessenberry. You should take a read of the whole thing. But I want to highlight one more portion of this piece before we segue to the next piece. Miss Riggins said, quote, At one time, Tildenville used to be thriving. That was before the Florida Turnpike came in. When the Turnpike came in, it changed everything. There used to be a camp here called South Lake, and when the Turnpike came, they had to tear those houses down. That became a dividing line. This was where you had to come if you wanted to purchase anything other than going up to Winter Garden. But eventually the stores closed and many of the residents went away. A community school once stood south of the Woodward home. That's where they would start their school journey in Tildenville. And for high school, all the students of the community and the students of East Winter Garden would go to Charles R. Drew High School on East Story Road. It originally opened in Winter Garden in 1923, and in 1949 it became a high school. And there's a lot of history for the black community at that spot where Charles Drew High was. And there's plenty of people still living today that went to Drew High School. Currently, that school is the home of Orange Technical College, the West Campus, a vocational school. And it's a fitting location where a lot of young men and women are inspired to go to a technical college right there in their community. There's a piece in this week's paper also by Amy Quessenberry who discussed this issue of Orange County Public Schools. Well, they're moving the school. They're moving it to Ocoee, near Ocoee High School, actually. It's probably about 10 minutes north. And that's underway. They're spending $42 million on an amazing new facility, a huge upgrade. And, you know, it's been a long time since the technical school has been there. That was in 1974. A lot of people are upset, not so much about the move of Westside Tech, but of what Orange County Public Schools is planning on putting in its place. So this property, this school that has a lot of history, especially for the black community in West Orange, well, they want to put a bus depot there. And in the piece, Miss Lauren Roth, who is the senior manager of facilities communications for Orange County Public Schools, well, she defends the decision, and it's not a decision that's done yet. She talks about it. She says that they want to hear from the community. She says that they're going to honor Drew High School and its history and put something to memorialize the space there, maybe some historical markers possibly in consideration. And that's very nice, and I think that's a great thing. I think a lot of people would appreciate that. A lot of the community members would value that. But the problem that many in the community are having is not that. It's not that we have to do something with the location other than a technical college or a school, but that they're putting these buses there, and people have a big problem with that. Now, Miss Lauren Roth, I've spoken to her a couple times personally, and I have to tell you, she is a very professional, very nice lady. She's doing her job, and I hope that when this community meeting comes, all of you are there, all of you who agree that putting 100 buses near an underprivileged, historically underprivileged community, East Winter Garden, on the property of a historical land space, is not in the best interest of those residents. They're worried about pollution. They're worried about traffic. They're worried about their property values. But we got to let Orange County Public School Systems know how we feel that things like a bus depot belong in a fully commercial area, not a mixed-use area. The city of Winter Garden is going to be spending millions of dollars to try to help revitalize that historically black community. This location for a bus depot does nothing to help that community. Perhaps OCPS can let the community know why they won't consider selling the land. I mean, they'd make an incredible amount of money. They could utilize those funds to purchase property in a fully commercial area. Now, perhaps there's a good reason why they won't do that. Perhaps they could tell us on Wednesday, February 16th at 6 p.m. at the Orange Technical College on East Story Road in Winter Garden. And I hope to see you there. This has been Austin Arthur with the West Orange Times and Observer. And until next week, have a happy and blessed weekend.
West Orange on the Go is brought to you by the West Orange Times and Observer. Hosted by Austin Arthur. West Orange on the Go.